This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by The Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that The Barbecue Guru is controlling your temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you'll really, really love. Grilling with pellets. Green Mountain pellet grills are the top of the line, best of the best, but not the highest in price. And be sure to check out all of their flavor rubs, sauces, and pellets for the Green Mountain Grill, all on their website. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to peruse the entire products portfolio. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets. 2/3 oak, 1/3 flavor wood, giving you that perfect combination of BTU burn and sweet, succulent smoke you're looking to get all over your meat. A wide variety of flavors, so please go to the website to check it out and get yours today. Barbecuer's Delight, which is bbqrsdelight.com.
Hey, this is Helen Paradise from SoCal, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Uh-oh. You do know that you are not streaming, right? I did, but I should be okay now. Ronan, report back. That is not the case. We discuss things that have to do with barbecue and grilling. Somebody getting this? Hit me up. You're good. Right. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, each and every Tuesday, and I am happy to have you aboard on this Tuesday that you've decided. Big show tonight. Holy crap. If you didn't get the newsletter, you're missing out. You go to the website, thebbqcentralshow.com, and you can find the ability to hook right up to the newsletter right there, about 300 spots remaining, if you're so inclined. The website, by the way, thebbqcentralshow.com, you can find archives, you can find regular blog-style posts, full archives all the way back from whenever. You can also subscribe to iTunes, all of that great stuff. 2 ways to get in touch with the show if you need to, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show, greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. Coming up in about 11 minutes from now, I don't want to say outside the box, because it definitely has to do with barbecue, but somebody, I guess, typically you wouldn't find on this show. That's why we're always reaching and getting outside of that proverbial box, which separates this from all the other crap shows that are out there on the interwebs and on television, for that matter. Bob Wolfe from the American Royal will be joining us. And if I may add, kind of an American Royal-themed show, at least for the first three guests tonight, all have some form or fashion to do with the American Royal. Bob Wolfe is the Director of Operations and Logistics and Maintenance. Busy guy. Sure, he's got 20 minutes that he has nothing to do with, instead of setting up for like 758 people right now. Who knows? He will be on 35 past the hour, 9 o'clock. Rod Gray, Pellet Envy, will join me, of course, very passionate about the American Royal. We'll talk to Rod. And in the second hour, 10:14, Joe Beelan, Tippy Canoe Barbecue. Of course, they won the American Royal Invitational last year, so we have a lot of great things to talk to him about. And helping me close out the show, 35 past the hour of 10 o'clock, regular contributor of the show and writer of the Smoke Signals blog, which can be found at thewashingtonpost.com. Jim Shaheen joins me, and we got a lot of cool stuff to talk to him about tonight as well. So jam-packed show, 877-448-0433. Here we go, Survey Tuesday, in case you wanted to hear about it. What's your favorite, question number one, what's your favorite wood for smoke flavor? Question number two, what's the go-to appetizer on the cooker for your house parties, or if you're requested to bring something? What's your go-to when it comes to appetizers on the cooker? And question number three, it is now October 2nd, if you can believe it. Where's the time go? So it's getting cold out, and I'm growing the winter beard. Beard jihad on my face. What is your and October signifies the major barbecue. I'm not saying that some of the other ones aren't major, but, you know, October, you're always thinking of the major barbecue competitions that people want to win. So what is your favorite contest when October rolls around? Gang, I have breaking news. Maybe you saw it. I tweeted about it last week. There's a bacon shortage.
Get that big stuff out of here.
This, of course, reported to me by one of the co-founders of the International Federation of Competitive Eating. Also bodied in that is Major League Eating. The world body that governs all stomach-centric sports has indefinitely suspended all bacon eating contests in reaction to an expected global pork shortage in 2013. Say it ain't so. The United Kingdom's National Pig Association has reported that feed costs and global drought has negatively impacted the European Union's pig herd. At the same time, pig farmers, the United States, are reducing herds to cut the cost of feeding them, also as a result of drought. MLE, which counts among its members the number one ranked eater in the world, Joey Chestnut, who's been on the show a number of times, and other top eaters, including Sonia Thomas, the 85-pound eating wonder dynamo lady. Eater X, Tim Janis, said they will actively dissuade its eaters from consuming bacon. When asked about it, Richard Shea, president of MLE, said, "We cannot, in good conscience, allow Joey Chestnut..." Holy Jesus Christ, I can't believe what I just saw.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Bring the whiskey by the gallons. We cannot, in good conscience, allow Joey Chestnut to eat bacon during a global pork shortage. We estimate that Joey alone could eat 20 pounds of bacon in 10 minutes. Wow. Sorry, I meant to do this. Could you eat 10 pounds, 20 pounds of bacon in 10 minutes? Shea said that MLE has asked Joey Chestnut and all the professional eaters to consider bacon alternatives for use in the home during the next year. The only expectation to the new MLE ban on bacon eating contests would be, or not expectation, but exception, would be the bacon wrap scallops eating contest. According to Shea, who explained that bacon wrap scallops are just really delicious and mostly scallops anyway. Who's counting that? Major League Eating sanctions some 80 different events each year, including the Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest and the Hooters World Chicken Wing Championship. Joey Chestnut holds the record of 68 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes, while the 100-pound female eating phenom, Sonia Thomas, has eaten 45 hot dogs and buns. At this juncture, there is no pancake shortage, and the top-ranked Major League Eaters converged in Louisville, Kentucky for the Wild Egg National Pancake Eating Championship this past weekend, and it went off without a hitch. Thank goodness. So I guess that should be like question number 4 in the survey. Will you be doing your part in this predicted national global bacon shortage and forego? Do I hear a sizzle lean?
Get that big stuff out of here.
No takers on the sizzle lean. How about turkey bacon? Turkey bacon's all right as a substitute. I don't know. Jeff, thank you for catching my proper pronunciation. I used to go down to Louisville many years in a row for the Mid-American Truck Show, believe it or not. One of my favorite eateries in Louisville is it's on the Bristol. You ever been to the Bristol? Love the Bristol, Jeff. Right there on Bardstown Road. Love the Bristol now. Love it. Turkey bacon isn't wrong. I think it's all right. No? All right. That's fine. So there you go. It's the pork shortage. By the way, before we have to get out, final Sam's Club regional qualifier took place this past weekend. Top 10 move on. So this will round it out. Iowa Smoky D's, a friend of the show, wins. AAA Cookers Reserve. Buffalo's Barbecue third. Boondoggle Barbecue fourth. There's no place like Smoke. Caveman Cuisine. Fire Dancer Barbecue. Sizzlin' Bones Barbecue. Bruin Q Barbecue. County Line Smokers. The final 50 teams are now set and will throw down in 12 days to decide the overall winner of the Sam's Club this year. Very excited to see how this will actually play out. Ton of great teams taking part in the final, so watch out Bentonville. It's going to be a hoot and a holler. That's right, I just said hoot and holler. I said it. All right, Bob Wolfe from the American Royal joining me here in just a second. What's this read at? I wonder what Bob's going to have to say about this American Royal. He probably hates it like no other. Gang, I don't know if you've been paying attention the last couple of weeks. That's why I wanted to mention it again. You know, Butcher's Barbecue, a longtime running sponsor of the show, continues to think of ways to help out their customers. And here's what I'm talking, right? I mentioned it a couple weeks. It's still going on. How about free Butcher's Barbecue injections for a year? That's right. Free Butcher Barbecue original injection or pork injection or prime injection for a full year of competition. You freaking kidding me? Getting fed by top pitmasters at the American Royal this very weekend. Couldn't possibly stand up for the deal that you would be getting from Butcher Barbecue. Starting a couple weeks ago, I think it was the 10th. All you have to do is place your order online. Continue to do so all the way until October 26th, which just happens to be the Jack Daniels. Entry closes when the winner of the Jack Daniels is announced. Jeff, yes, sir, and bacon, yeah, of course, love it. Here's the best part. The winner of the free Butcher's Barbecue injection for a year, you're getting the year part, right? That's a long time. It will be announced live October 30th right here on the Barbecue Central video radio show. Doesn't get any better than that. Dave believes in the show, and we believe in Dave, and that's why we have a wonderful kismet and synergy together. In true Jack Daniels fashion, here's the process. Every order placed from now until the winner of the Jack is announced, your name will be placed into the hopper each and every time you put in an order. For example, you buy 700 separate orders of Butcher Barbecue, your name will be entered 700 times. I suggest you do that. Dave won't say it. I know he suggested you would do that as well. It's just as easy as that. All you have to do, go to butcherbbq.com for full details. Again, butcherbbq.com. And for those of you wondering if the trade-in program is still available, maybe you've gotten your hands on some crappy injection, it's made your scores tumble, caused you sleepless nights, and so on and so forth. Package it up, make sure the full or partial label is on there and that it's commercially made, ship it to Dave, he'll weigh it and then replace it with a fine Butcher Barbecue, a prime or beef or pork injection. Time-tested, team-tested, people are winning on it. Dave is winning on it, including last weekend, which we'll get into next top of the hour. All right, we're going to step away. We'll come back with Bob Wolfe from the American Royal World Series of Barbecue event thingy. What? You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, just past 14 minutes. That's not even still what I want to say, but I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. 14 minutes past the hour. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Don't forget, coming up 35 past the hour, some guy named Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. And then, of course, we have Joe Beeland and Jim Shaheen in the second hour. All right, my first guest tonight has his hands full this time of year. Quite honestly, that might be one of the biggest understatements of all time. The American Royal Barbecue takes place this coming weekend, but did you know there are many other events that are happening before this big barbecue cook-off? There is. We race right over to the hotline, and we will grab Director of Operations and Maintenance of the American Royal, Bob Wolfe, joining me here on the show. Bob, how are you, buddy?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you for inviting me on your show.
It's absolutely my pleasure, Bob, and I appreciate you making time out. I can't imagine a guy like yourself in this particular stage of the year and the month that we're in probably has 6 or 7 seconds you can actually rub together that are free, so I appreciate you making that time. The World Series of Barbecue attracts what seems to be more and more teams each and every year. So in somebody in your position, what kind of a planning and logistics layout for fitting 500, almost 600 teams onto the grounds of these old stockyards in Kansas City?
Well, I guess the main thing is that we are really strapped for space at this time of the year. And to join that many teams together at one time, it's I don't know if you'd call it a nightmare or not, but it's a big undertaking to make sure that all of them have water, electricity, and whatever else they may need. We have over 600 porta pots on the grounds today, right now, and probably 150 to 200 tents, and so it is a big undertaking, and it takes a big crew to make sure that everything is done right, and we want all of our guests to be happy and have a good time and enjoy themselves and do some good barbecuing while they're here.
Bob Wolfe joining me here on the show. Bob, how long have you been doing this?
14 years.
Right, 14 years. So, you have a pretty good handle, and you've been seeing it grow over the years. Do you have any type of projection of the amount of foot traffic you're going to be seeing between teams and just general public kind of walking in and out?
Well, on Friday night, we have probably one of the largest parties in the country, and they'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, maybe 50,000 people, depending on the weather. And so over the weekend, the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll entertain probably over 70,000 people.
Bob Wolfe joining me here on the show, Director of Operations and Maintenance for the American Royal Association. I don't know if this number has dwindled through attrition at this point, or perhaps it's even swelled, but I heard there were about 80 teams on the waiting list hoping to get the coveted spot at the open contest. And it seems with a guy like you in your position, inevitably you're put in this weird dilemma of how you can fit the most teams in, but still keep the ground safe and also have it remain kind of a fan and folks family-friendly with the thousands of people that are going to be turning out for the big party nights. What kind of pressure or situation does that really put you in, and how are you dealing with it?
Not near as much as it used to whenever I first started the job. I'm kind of salted now, so I kind of know what we need, but there's always surprises every day, and it's just amazing at the amount of telephone calls I'll get. I think this morning before noon, I had over 90 calls asking about this or that, where they was going to be, and if they could get straw. And we go through over 2,000 bales of straw that the teams purchase to set around their tents and when they're having their parties for people to set them. So.
All right, Bob, so let me ask you this. I mean, you've been doing it for 14 years now. You've seen it grow and grow each and every year, and you're the guy that they're calling to put out fires when they happen. What's the biggest issue you ever had? One that you always talk about. It's the first story that comes out after everybody's had a few pops and everybody's starting to tell lies. What's the biggest issue you've ever had to deal with?
Well, probably putting out a fire. We actually had people, they'll pour hot ashes in the dumpsters, and the fire department has to come, but we get it put out usually before the fire department gets here. Not saying that they don't do a good job, but we just know what to do, and we're on the radio just about all the time, and so it's not really a big problem. It's just everybody working together and trying to do the best for our contestants and see that their needs are met.
Bob Wolfe joining me here on the show. You know, Bob, some of the folks may not realize, and I'm seeing it right now in the instant chat from the chat room roll, that the American Royal isn't just a barbecue event or the World Series of Barbecue. There's a rodeo, there's a livestock show, you got the poker tournament, and of course there's the new induction of this Barbecue Hall of Fame and all those associated ceremonies. This is all taking place within a matter of weeks. So what's it like for you to step up to get this rodeo in, get the dirt down, get the stall set up, and then clear all that out, and then get the barbecue contest in? I mean, that has to be a huge turnaround for you, but perhaps it's like all of a sudden this synchronized dance that you're used to now that you've done it for so long.
Well, our American Royal season usually starts on the first week after Labor Day. We start with our quarter horse show, and then we'll have an event every weekend through Thanksgiving, till the week before Thanksgiving. And in that period, we'll have 30 plus events. We'll have 9 horse shows, a livestock show, rodeo, barbecue, of course. And so the people that I have working with me and for me are old hat at it. They've been here. Some of them have been here as long as 20 years. But the majority of them have been here 8, 9, 10 years. So they pretty much know what to do. All I have to do is kind of point them in the right direction, and we see that it gets done. On Sunday at 3 o'clock, or at 5 o'clock, excuse me, we had our last performance of our rodeo. And by 5 o'clock on Monday evening, we had the arena cleared, the horse stalls were taken down, and the floor was scrubbed, and we was setting up for the barbecue last night at 5 o'clock. So in a 24-hour period, that's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah, that's a huge turnaround, and congratulations for doing that each and every year and making it happen without a hitch. Is there a, I don't want to say a chore, but is there a part of this whole season that you absolutely don't look forward to each and every year?
No, not really. I love the American Royal. We are 113 years old this year. It's our 113th season, our 30th year as a barbecue, and so no, we're a 501(c) not-for-profit organization, and we last year we gave it in the neighborhood of $1.6 million to education, youth, and scholarships. So no, it's a great job, and I love it. And most of the people that are down here are just wonderful people and good to work with, and that makes my job a lot easier.
Always makes it easier when you're dealing with the good people and that are kind of helping you achieve that goal, no doubt about it. Bob Wolfe joining us here on the show, Director of Operations and Maintenance for the American Royal. Bob, you've been doing it for 14 years, as you said. Some of the biggest changes that you have seen to the American Royal, or I guess in the barbecue community in general, since the barbecue thing has been taking place now 30 years?
Well, I think the biggest change is how it's grown over the past 10 years. We've almost doubled in size, and with the 80 plus on the waiting list, it's more than doubled. So yeah, that's probably the biggest change.
Are you a barbecue guy, Bob? You got a smoker? Do you cook?
I don't barbecue, no, but I'm a home griller. I sit out on the deck at night or in the evening and grill when I have time.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that you have seen it grow this much when you were doing it, 10, 12, 13 years ago? Did you think, hey, this is pretty cool? You got a couple hundred people coming out here. Did you ever think it was going to swell 3 times the size?
Yeah, I don't think we ever did. Any of us thought it would grow to this magnitude. It's huge, and we're the World Series of barbecue, the world's largest. Have a record 545 teams this year, and if we could get more teams in, that would be okay. We'd find a place for them, but we're pretty limited on our real estate here, as far as space. So we have to we close off the streets, and we use that, and then our complex is about 17 or 18 acres, and it's just completely covered inside and out. We use just about every inch of space that we have.
Bob Wolfe joining me here on the show. All right, Bob, so barbecue has been getting a lot of media exposure, especially over the last, I'd say, 3 to 5 years, maybe even a little bit sooner than that. Is there any similarity between the Royal as it started back, however long ago it was, and then the Golden Ox restaurant? It was really just kind of like a group of people getting together and sharing this common hobby. And all of a sudden we're at 500-plus teams. Is there any similarity that you can find between that generation and the generation that it sits in now?
Oh, I don't think so. Really, I don't. The grills have changed. The charcoal that they use have changed. They use pellets now. Rod Gray, I think he uses pellets almost exclusively. But other than that, it hasn't really changed that much.
So since the Royal is a nonprofit and the tickets, the ticket sales and sponsor money goes right back into the scholarship for the youth. So there's not a lot of big budgets to spend on hiring a bunch of staff, getting fancy upgrades and the new tractors and all this stuff. The Royal team really relies on a lot of volunteers, but not solely. So, how many workers does it typically take for you to transform the grounds from rodeo to barbecue contest to livestock show and then back to normal every year?
I have between 15 and 25 people that work for us. And we, as the need rises, I bring in more, but usually about 15 or 16. But whenever we have those quick turnovers, I'll have another one in next weekend. I've got a turnover from the barbecue and have a hunter jumper show starting on Thursday. So it's never ending, but that's what I like, and it keeps everybody. You have to really be on your toes to do that. It's great. I really like it.
Bob, I don't know if you would, really be able to speak on this or how familiar you are with some of the other really big barbecue attractions that happen across the country. But when you take into account, the American Royal Barbecue, how do you think logistically that might compare or contrast with something like a Memphis in May or a Houston livestock show?
I haven't been to any of those, but Memphis in May is a great barbecue, and also Houston, and then they have the Jack Daniel's World Championship also, and but I think we're probably the amount of teams we're probably twice as many as any of those. So,
Bob Wolfe joining me here on the show, Director of Operations and Maintenance at the American Royal, which is going to be taking place this weekend. At least the barbecue side of it, there is a whole season, as Bob was talking about a little earlier. Bob, for the people who run barbecue events around the country, or perhaps here in Cleveland, believe it or not, there are exactly 0.0 barbecue competitions that take place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city. I know, the look of surprise on your face gives it away. But nevertheless, for the people that were thinking about maybe starting a contest in their community, for somebody that really houses and directs the biggest one each and every year, do you have any type of advice for them or things that they would really want to take into account before they started jumping into this process?
Well, I would suggest they get with a sanctioning body like we're with the KCBS and Kansas City Barbecue Society, and they'll help promote it. And they can help you out in so many ways. They do the tabulating of the judges and the results, and that would be my biggest suggestion. Is just get with an organization that can help you.
Bob, how do you run power to 600 teams? Do you have like little pup trailers that are generators set up all over the place and you're running lines? I mean, I can't even imagine what kind of a nightmare that must be.
We use huge generators. I don't know if you're familiar with electricity or not, but 200 kW, kilowatts, and that's huge. And we'll probably put out, I'm going to say 7 to 8 miles of electrical wiring, and we have distribution boxes, and we furnish everybody with electricity that wants it.
I'm only asking this because I was paid a handsome sum of money to put you on the spot, but is the team Pellet Envy getting a 30-amp plug this year at their site?
If he paid for it, he might.
Rod pays for nothing. I think we all know that. We're not kidding anybody. Sorry, Rod, no 30-amp plug for you.
That's a good person.
What does an electric bill look like for the American Royal Barbecue Contest? What are you guys paying? Like $8-10 or what?
We charge each contestant $30 for one 20-amp plug, and so they can put as many plugs into that one plug as they want until they throw a break. Then we have to go out and tell them they have to hook something. So most of the people are real, they're real happy to work with us, and they do, and we get along with everybody pretty good.
Is that covering the cost of the electricity that you're actually spending out?
It does. Yes, it does. Our generators will cost us probably $10,000 just for the generators for our 4-day week. Wow. And then the labor of putting all the lines up and unhooking them and making sure that everything is to code as much as we can. So, yeah, it's pretty costly.
All right, Bob, before I let you go, got to do it. American Royal Invitational, if you could. We'll do the drum roll, and you can give me a prediction of a winner for the American Royal Invitational. Go ahead.
Oh, my goodness. You put me on the spot.
Absolutely.
I don't have a clue. They're all good. And to really get the real feel of it, people need to come to Kansas City the first weekend of October and come to our barbecue. It's really an eye-opener. And but as far as picking a winner, they're all good. They're all good.
I'm going to put you on the spot again, Bob, because I have to do this. Is there any possibility of getting hardwire internet like on one of the lots where we could run an actual plug into the back of a computer?
Yes, I think some people already have that.
Really?
Yeah, I think they use. We have Wi-Fi here, and some of them I think can do that.
All right. Well, if I can get wire into the back of a computer, and I don't want to excite you too much, I could be there perhaps next year live broadcasting. We could be sitting face to face in 2013. Does that excite you even 1 second?
That's awesome. That would be awesome, and we'll get whatever you need.
All right, Bob. Well, I'll hold you to that.
We'll fix you up.
You're going to be sorry you ever said that because I'll hold you to it, I swear to God. Okay. Bob Wolfe is the Director of Operations and Maintenance for the American Royal. Again, that'll be taking place this coming weekend. Bob, much success to you. I appreciate you taking the time out. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much, and appreciate your talking with you.
You got it. There he is.
All right. Thank you.
Bob Wolfe. How about that? Who knew there was that much? Well, who didn't know? It's only the biggest freaking barbecue contest in the world. The world, right? It's got to be the world. I've been doing it for 14 years. Man, very professional, which I respect, but I have to imagine Get Bob, get a fifth of Jack, or in my case, fifth of Woodford Reserve. Start pouring drinks. Kind of fish with him a little bit. See what kind of stories. And this guy has to have stories like you can't even begin to imagine. Stories that I wouldn't mind hearing from time to time. And there you go. All right. Let me do a quick read here, and then we'll get to Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. Thanks to Bob Wolfe, American Royal, for joining me that segment. We've talked about them for years and years and years, and simply because they are the premier leader in automatic pin temperature control device. You know the name is synonymous with the barbecue guru. If you're looking for this type of technology, this is where you need to stop the looking. They created it. Why would you buy anywhere else? I don't know. Here's the deal, right? Rod Gray, we're gonna fist fight on the air, buddy. Not familiar with how these work? How about this? It's a device that you can set the temperature at. Boom. You can do whatever you want. Maybe you're a busy professional. You want brisket at night. Fine. Put it on in the morning. Set the pit temperature. Go to work. Pitminder, the guru has your back. Maybe you're a busy parent. You got a lot of errands to do. You don't have the time to float around and mind pit temperatures. Look, we all understand. That's why the barbecue guru is there. Maybe you like to get some sleep for any competition. Same thing. We're talking about the same stuff here. Look, there's currently 5 models, maybe 4, that you can choose from. The Procom 4 wireless being phased out. That might not even be available anymore. If it is, buy it. It could be a collector's item. The CyberQ Wi-Fi, which is raging in popularity right now. The CyberQ 2, the DigiQ DX2, and the newest unit, the Party Q, at $129, the easiest and most cost-effective entry into pit temperature control device. Gang, it's a self-contained unit. It runs on AA batteries. If you have a bullet-style smoker or any of the other, cool smokers, ceramic, $10 more for ceramic, by the way, because of the flange. You can just take it from house to house. You can be the guy that everybody talks about. You could be like me, the guy that everybody talks about. Now, maybe you're in the market for a cooker. No problem. Guru has you covered there as well, the Onyx Oven. It has been winning on the competition circuit a lot as of late, but also in backyards. It accommodates the half and the full pans for food service. Obviously works seamlessly with the Barbecue Guru pit temperature devices. Do yourself a favor. Head over to thebbqguru.com. Check out all their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly. 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. Again, that's the Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. Thanks again to Bob Wolfe for coming on, but we point to a guy who needs no introduction. And so I won't. I'll just say stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Waste Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots. We don't need a radio. Bring a jukebox for my outlaws. Bring me 3 shots. We can raise hell before the speed stops. I'm a whiskey.
All right, coming up on 23 minutes till top of the hour. 37 past. 877-448-0433. Oh, Rod. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. My next guest tonight, always a lightning rod, no pun intended. When it comes to the barbecue scene in 2008, they were KCBS, third overall KCBS Team of the Year. 2010, they were runner-up. 2009, they won the whole damn thing. One of the closest races for that honor in recent memory. You'll find them at the American Royal this coming weekend. Let's race over the hotline and grab Pitmaster of Pellet Envy. You know him, Rod Gray. Rod, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Greg? That's a cute little beard you're working on, bud.
Look, I don't think you should be calling me Grecian Formula, Mr. Gray in your goatee.
Yeah, but at least I don't color it, my friend. Let it go, baby. All natural.
Well, I don't color in the gray. Oh, no pun intended.
I only have half your face in my picture. I don't.
Yeah, that's because we're split screen right now for everybody else to see.
Fix it.
You don't. All right. You want to see more of me? There you go.
Yeah,
Look at that. It's a beard jihad, Rod, all over my face. Believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Lots to get to. What do you know about Bob Wolfe?
You know what? Bob is so humble, but the truth is he is the hardest working man at the American Royal. That dude pulls off. He's like Houdini of barbecue. All the stuff that he does and the way he handles it. And it's just a yeoman-like job he does. He just puts his head down and gets it done. And I can't imagine. You know, I typed out, but I don't know if you saw it, but Bob actually pulls an RV to the Royal and stays on the grounds for about the 2.5 months of the season. And then when the season's over, he gets to go home. So that guy, the Royal couldn't do it without him.
14 years in, so obviously knows what he's doing and obviously likes doing it, too. I mean, if it was that big of a pain in the ass, he probably would have left after 14 hours instead of staying 14 years.
I've never seen Bob without a smile on his face. The guy just loves what he does and just does a great job at it.
All right, barbecue aside for the moment. As big of a rock star as you are, Rod, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass, someone always outshines us. For you, that happens to be your wife, Sherry. Lots of people already asking me and sending me emails prior to this. How is she doing? Update on where she stands right now, health-wise. What can you tell us?
You know, she's upstairs, but I'd love to ever come stand behind me or get on here. But she's doing really well. We pulled a couple of strings, got her on the transplant list a little bit early, which is great news. She's there. We have at least one potential match, although we're looking for a little better match. We got a few more people to test. And quite honestly, Greg, I fully expect that Sherry will have a new kidney before the end of the year, which is just awesome.
Absolutely fantastic. Great news. Appreciate you letting us in. Before we get into the Royal Talk, Rod, this past weekend you took part in Sam's Club regional qualifier. And at least for the results, probably what looked like to me maybe a disappointing performance by Pellet Envy, finishing middle of the pack overall. Can you give us a little brief recap of the event and how the cook went for you?
Well, I cooked okay. I had some peripheral things going on there that I really don't want to bring up on the show. Somebody else could do it, but I would tell you it didn't affect my cook. I felt decent about my food. I did like my ribs. They won. I don't know that the rest of the stuff was 23rd, 24th. It wasn't winning food by my standards, but this is just a year that I'm just putting in my weekends and trying to few little things here and there, and kind of setting my sights on 2013. Not that I'm giving up. You know, when I go to an event, Greg, I go to win, but I absolutely wanted to move on to the finals in Bentonville, but this isn't my year for that.
All right, so you mentioned you won ribs, and again, you said you were around the 20s, mid-20s for the other three meets. You said there were some things going on. Nothing that you can bring up that would account for maybe throwing you off a little bit, or I mean, typically you're not a guy that doesn't want to bring stuff up, Rod. So I'm giving you a chance to recount. Well,
if it just involved me, then I would tell you all about it. But it involved another party, and quite honestly, this isn't the time or the place tonight. You know, sometime later on, we'll all joke about it. It'll be fun, but I just would rather not tonight. And I'm not trying to build up any kind of suspense. It's not the time or place. American Royal Week. You know, Greg, honest, I didn't think it affected my cook. I just didn't cook the way I wanted to.
All right, so by the way, we're talking with Rod Gray from Pitmaster of Pellet Envy, pelletenvy.com, sponsored by Greased Lightning, of course. So we point to this coming weekend, Rod, to a contest very near and dear to your heart. You're not just an active cook in there. You're also, chairing different things within that organization. You take very active role in this event. So in your opinion, why is this event so special and so sought after to win?
Well, here's my theory, and maybe I'm on my own here, but the truth is, this is the true U.S. championship. It's a true world championship for that matter, but point being, the Invitational brings in any team that qualifies. You know, unlike one of its competitors later on in October that the cooks think is such a special event, that leaves some of the best teams in barbecue home on their weekend. Yeah, crowns a world champion. This event, if you do the right things, you're invited, and you all get to come, and you all get to cook, and we crown a true champion in the Invitational. Then we turn around the next day, and we compete against 544 other teams. How many times a year can you do that? But you and I both know only once. This is the world's largest barbecue contest. Absolutely. This is the biggie.
How big of I don't know how else to word this. So you have the elite of the elite invited, and a lot of them are showing up to take part in the Invitational. And then, I mean, is it off base for me to say that 85, 90% are probably turning around and doing the Open, maybe even more than that?
Yeah, I think it's closer to 99% of them turn around and do the Open. You're already there. You're in your spot. Why not cook two contests in one weekend, compete the one that everybody wants to win, the American Royal?
How big of a pain in the ass is it to cook the Invitational and have all of that pressure to really be able to walk away and say, this year I'm king shit. I beat everybody that won, that decided to show up, and I'm the man, and then turn around and go against 600 other teams?
Well,
it's really like, and it's not even cliche, two different contests night and day.
That's right. And, you know, if you look back some years, though, look at teams like Big Bob Gibson and Lotta Bull and some of those guys that will win the first one or get close and then win the second day. Whether, you know, those guys are just nuts on cooking great barbecue that weekend to do what they do. Most of the time, it doesn't work that way. You know, you'll see teams that feel like they bombed out in the Invitational and turn around and have a good day in the Open, or vice versa. And I think it's part of the tables you hit. I think it's part of your mentality. But it's tough. It's tough to cook the Invitational and turn around and get ready to cook the Open. But if you want to make it a little tougher, Greg, then throw in a catering for 800 on Friday night. Oh, and maybe film Pit Masters on Sunday and Monday. And you get it all in one 4-day weekend.
Are you doing Pit Masters this year?
Yes, I am.
So the contract this year was amenable to Peloton.
Let's just say that we came to an arrangement this year.
All right, so now nobody can say that some of the top teams were never invited, and thank God.
They can't say it about me anymore.
Correct.
Phil Mickelson of barbecue.
The lefty of barbecue. I mean, you have quite an extensive book list behind your left shoulder there. Do you have a particular one that you like the best?
You know, I really like them all. I'm a big fan of what Adam Lang has done. I just got completely through the Wicked Q book. I think it's a fabulous book. There's a lot of good stuff back there. One you're going to see missing, I will tell you, I just pulled it out this evening, is Myron Mixon's book. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. Rod Kramer Q, a team in Kansas City, competes around this area. Rod's full-time, can't travel the country. Wasn't feeling well. He went to the doctor to find out he had very fast-acting leukemia.
Ugh.
And Rod's in KU Med, battling it out, taking chemo every day. It's kicking his butt, but his wife called me today and asked me if I could get Myron Mixon to sign a book for him. So I pulled my book out and put it in my stack take with me. So you won't see Myron's book there, but it's not because I don't have it. It's because I'm going to get Myron to sign it and get it to Rod Kramer.
Rod Gray joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Pellet Envy. Again, the website, pelletenvy.com. So the last time you were on the show, we talked about Barbecue Hall of Fame for a piece. How are things lining up on that end? Has it exceeded your expectation as far as interest and people wanting to attend or whatever the case is? How is that end of the whole portion going?
The Barbecue Hall of Fame has vastly exceeded my expectations for the first year. We're doing all kinds of great things. We've got Roger Twyble, an MC for the Barbecue Hall of Fame. We've got a really cool, very exclusive 1-hour private reception right before the induction ceremony. We call it the VIP Black Apron reception. We're all going to don black aprons and get a picture taken and glass hand with Guy Fieri and Johnny Trigg and actually descendants of the Ford family's coming.
Rod. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna dump you and I'm gonna call you right back. We're starting to chop up on the audio a little bit.
All right.
Hang back. No way I'm gonna keep that going. You people will be on my ass. I'll be right back. Right. Sorry about that. All right, so big Black Apron event. You're going to be
100 people eating some great Italian hors d'oeuvres from Jasper Mirabel, our local celebrity Italian chef and drinking some Crown Royal, and then we go right down to the stage and induct Johnny Trigg and Guy Fieri and Henry Ford in with the 7 originals there. And you're making faces. Are we still choppy?
No, I'm making faces because you're inducting Guy Fieri into the Barbecue Hall of Fame.
I thought maybe you had a little gas or something.
I have gas, all right.
Yeah. You know, Greg, and I'd love to spend a whole hour and debate that with you, but the truth is, by putting Guy in, we've really brought a lot of attention to the Barbecue Hall of Fame.
Right.
So we're going to do something similar next year, so you might want to take some antacids or whatever you need to do.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that one of us was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Not me, but you know what? You keep up what you're doing here, and we might get you in there yet.
All right. Well, fingers crossed, of course. All right, Rod, you're going to be taking part in the competition this December called King of the Smoker.
Yeah.
There have been a few other events in a similar style of setup. Let me ask you this. I have a soundbite of you years ago that I was actually using for the second hour intro, asking you about like pellet cookers and, what are they doing to barbecue, blah, blah, blah. Is there a growing movement afoot, dare I say, a grassroots movement that is demanding barbecue to get back to some type of more traditional way of preparing it and cooking it and trying to do away with this technology and gadgetry and all of this other pageantry, if you will, that barbecue is where it's at right now?
I think there is. I don't know that it's really this active machine in motion kind of a thing, no pun intended, but you notice Josh, is it Oversky?
Yes, Ozersky, yes. Yep.
Josh was trying to put on a contest somewhere out on the West Coast to do something that was like that. Sterling Ball of BigPapaSmokers.com is going to do this thing with 24 teams and no electronics. And yeah, I think there's some people that just want to get it back to its roots a little bit. But technology is a great thing, and it allows more and more people to cook barbecue. You and I wouldn't be talking if it weren't for pellet cookers. And I know one of your sponsors is Guru. Guru allows a lot of people to cook a lot of barbecue contests that maybe otherwise couldn't because of the physical side of cooking barbecue the old-fashioned way. So while it may be going on, I think we're seeing more and more technology.
All right, so that kind of dovetails nicely what you were just talking about. In the write-up of this King of the Smoker, or on their site, the term old school is used a few different times. You obviously did do a class, old school versus high tech. Can you define what old school barbecue is? Because to me, typically that would resonate as more of a subjective term versus more black and white. Can you define old school barbecue to me?
Well, I think everybody has their own definition of old school. I think one guy would say it's having some fire management skills where you need to actually tend to fire and regulate a fire. I think one guy might tell you it's not using any foil. I think the next guy might tell you that you have to dig a hole in the ground and cook your pig in the hole in the ground. And I'm not sure there's any one definition for old school. I think Johnny Trigg is the definition of old school barbecue. That would be my definition anyway.
Rod Gray joining me here on the show. All right, Rod, before I cut you loose, odds of Rod Gray winning the American Royal Invitational side of things this weekend?
1 in 140, I think, would be the odds.
No, bullshit. Give me a real percentage.
Listen, I know I can cook barbecue. I know I'm not cooking great barbecue this year. I know the American Royal, I haven't really been competitive for the last 5 years because I cater for that large group on Friday night. It doesn't mean I don't try my damnedest to win the thing, and I want to win the thing, and someday, hopefully, I will. But I really, the odds are long this weekend. I'm cooking some great ribs. I'm cooking some pretty good brisket. My chicken's a little off, and my pork's really pretty much out in left field right now. So I'm working on it, and I'm going to get it dialed back in, hopefully by December when I'm out in California, if not before. But I would say my odds are still pretty long. I don't really know I'm not an odds maker guy, but I'm going to stick with that 1 in 140 odds.
You have the other obligations. You have those caterers. Is there ever going to be a point where you can just wipe that aside and then give the American Royal the true attention that you feel it might deserve to give you that ability to finish in the top?
Yes, I will someday forego that catering to be more competitive in the Invitational and the Open. And plus, there was a snafu this year that we almost didn't do that catering, and I thought my wife would be unhappy with me, but instead she said, you know what? It'll give us a chance to enjoy the American Royal with our friends again. I want to do that someday. This is my contest. It's in my town. A lot of my best friends only come to Kansas City for this event, no other. And someday I will again enjoy the event and hopefully cook a little better.
Rod Gray, pitmaster of Pellet Envy. Again, the website pelletenvy.com. Rod, you going to be doing anything with Greased Lightning this weekend? $1 off coupons or free grease wipes, or what do you got?
I'm not, honestly, because I'm going to be rarely at my spot. Grease Lightning knows this is a very busy weekend for me, and they understand and support me in that. I'll have some bottles of Grease Lightning. I'll have some samples of Grease Lightning in my spot. If you want some samples, or if you want to trade me a bottle, I'll have a dozen or so probably with me, because there's, but most of the time I won't even be there, guys. But Grease Lightning, without Grease Lightning, I wouldn't be a competition barbecue cook. I love them. I think they love me. And it's a really, really great product if you haven't tried it. It really is great stuff. Greased-lightning.com, or just find it through my website.
Rod Gray is going to be competing at the American Royal this coming weekend. So if you see him, say hi. Rod, always appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Greg, I love coming on your show. I think you do a great thing for barbecue, and I really want you to come to the Royal and be here live, honestly. Come be my guest, and let's do this right.
It will happen sooner than later, I promise.
And no Woodward Reserve. We're going to drink gin.
Gin, yes. All right. Let's look for next year, Rod. Appreciate the time, buddy. Thanks. There he is, Rod Gray, pitmaster of Pelleting. We're going to drink gin. I'm going to throw up. All right. There you go. Not giving himself... Oh. Gang. Look at that field in the Invitational, and then have a guy who is widely considered to be one of the top barbecue cooks say that his odds are long. I got $20. That's burning a hole in my pocket in Vegas, if you know what I mean. All right, guys, as many of you know, I cook on a pellet cooker, a Grilla. First thing I did when I got my grimy little mitts on that badass cooker was go to Barbecuers Delight website and order Barbecuers Delight wood pellets. Why? Good question. Easily considered to be the most sought-after and consistent brand of barbecuer fuel, wood pellet-wise, for your barbecue or for your pellet-fired cookers. BBQRSDelight.com. That's the website. Now, maybe you don't have a pellet cooker. That's fine. You can still take advantage of the pellet revolution on your gas or charcoal grill or smoker by grabbing the cast iron pot option. You buy yourself a nice sampler pack of pellets. You load 1/3 cup into the pot and then place it into your cooker or grill and let that sweet, succulent smoke take care of the rest. Now, since these pellets have been processed from sawdust by pressure, that generates heat, any contaminants present in that wood are eliminated. This process produces a sterile smoking wood product of consistent quality. The hell is that? Pellets are easy to use. You don't have to soak them in water prior to use. And it's easy to blend wood flavors and produce consistent results each and every time with the use of Barbecuers Delight wood pellets. Now, here's something that you have to remember. Sampler packs, 100% wood. Absolutely. Stuff that goes in your cookers, it's a mix. 2/3 oak, 1/3 flavor wood. Just so you know. Do yourself a favor. Go to Barbecuers Delight website right now. BBQRSDelight.com. Check out all the flavors they have. Stop fussing with the sticks and the chunks. Barbecuers are like the choice of competition cooks and backyard warriors just like this guy. BBQRSDelight.com. We're going to come back and wrap up the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
Who would have thought this music thing was going to go
right,
this far?
back.
I never asked for this.
This will be a brief one.
I never asked for this fast
as we head towards the second hour. I want to thank Rod Gray from Pellet Envy, covering why the Royal is awesome, his odds at winning, which he is not giving himself any odds. 1 in 140 or whatever it was. A little modest, I think. That's all right. Also, Bob Wolfe talking about the American Royal and all of the things that he has to do in order to make that American Royal not only happen initially, but keep it going during the barbecue process, and then all of the other things that are happening. Livestock show, the rodeo, all that great stuff. It's wonderful. All right. We will wrap up here. So thanks to them, by the way, Rod Gray and Bob Wolfe. We're going to step back briefly, and then we're going to go to the second hour. Joe Beeland and Jim Shaheen join me in the second hour. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks. 877-448-0433. Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Jim Minion from Two Loose Screws. I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish! What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
You could use it to fight off creeping marauders looking to take your steaks off your grills.
I just like being anywhere with Junior, Senior, and Diva.
Sounds like a whole other type of movie.
Wow. Yeah, really. Keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are back into the second hour. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Little mic adjustment there. Thanks again to Rod Gray and Bob Wolfe for joining me last segment, talking about the American Royal and their different ways. Let's go ahead and hit the Survey Tuesday question. Favorite wood to smoke with? It is absolutely no secret for me. Now, look, I've done a lot of interviews with pitmasters, and it seems if you can get your hands on it, it seems the overwhelming wood that they love is pecan or pecan or whatever you call it, pecan wood. I can't get that. I don't even know anybody that has a pecan tree by them. Mine is apple. Love it. Can't over smoke with it. It's a nice light smoke. There's nothing about applewood that I don't like. I buy it by the dozens, the skidfuls, the groves, if you will. Question number 2. Your go-to appetizer for parties. For me, and this is considered salads are appetizers, right? For me, it's the grilled romaine salad. Phenomenal. Oh, this person keeps calling in. Do I take a phone call? Instant chat. Tell me, do I take a phone call or not? Begin. Yes or no? Do I break format to take a phone call? It could suck. It could suck. It could bring the show down. All right? My finger is on the proverbial trigger. We go to area code 323. Barbecue Central Radio Show. Name and where you're calling from.
Hello?
Awesome. That was great. Oh, I'm glad we stopped programming for that. Quick note, when I say 323, if your phone number starts the area code 323 and you can hear me, you're on the air. There's no call screener. There's nothing. You're up and you're running. Damn it. I hate when we do that. Question. So for me, it's the grilled salad each and every time. Gang, if you haven't done it, go buy your pack of whole romaines. You cut them in half long way. Rinse them out if you need to, or buy the pre-rinsed ones. And then dry them off, and then I just hit them with a little bit of olive oil on each side. I used to use El Capitan Santa Maria-style seasoning on them, and it was outrageous. God, it was good. And then, they went out of business, and they don't return my emails anymore. So I've gone to, kosher salt and fresh cracked pepper. I've gone to Morton Nature seasoning. It is so good. Sam, the cooking guy, says that heat changes things, and it does for the better on the grilled salad. So if you haven't tried that, I highly recommend it. Question number 3. Favorite contest in October has to be American Royal for me. Love it. All right, Butcher Barbecue. For those that aren't paying attention, Dave Bosca, Butcher Barbecue just won their 6th grand championship this past weekend at the Fire Lake Barbecue Cook-Off in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Jeez. He doesn't like winning a lot, or he does. Congrats to Dave Bosca, who continues to have a great season. Yes, he does use his own products in competition. Oh boy, here we go. 323 is calling back in. Instant chat, do we try again? We have 5 minutes. Yeah, we can try again. Here we go. Oh, he hung up. Got scared. Oh, no, he's back. Here we go. Fingers crossed. If he blows it this time, we're done. We go area code 323. Barbecue Central Radio Show, name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Who's this? What's your name, buddy?
My name is Sean Rice. Meet me. We're actually traveling to the Royal.
And you're in Oklahoma?
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma. We're going through Oklahoma into Kansas City, and then on to Missouri.
There you go. All right, and you are traveling with El Fuego Fiasco.
That is correct.
Now, I'm not sure. I want to say I've actually interviewed El Fuego Fiasco on the show. True or false?
Yes, that is true. You actually, after they won the champion at Stagecoach.
Oh, that's right. The state, yes, of course. Absolutely. Are you excited about the opportunity to leech off a team, eat all of their food, and take brilliant pictures and do a report later?
I'm actually doing video, and it's actually going up live daily on my Facebook page. And then at the end of the day, I'm doing a documentary short that's going up that should be up tomorrow morning. So I'm basically shooting all day, editing all night. Oh. It's going up, and I'm actually extremely excited because these guys are ready to bring it.
Sean, you're an expert. You've been on the show. You know barbecue. You've covered it. You love meat. Give me the odds of El Fuego Fiasco taking home a grand championship this weekend.
The odds of El Fuego taking home the grand championship this weekend.
The odds, yes.
I mean, it's anybody's game, really.
What?
But you want like a 1 in 140? I'm not going to say that.
No, I want you to say there's a 70.
Won before. Why can't they win again? Why can't the percentage be 100%?
Hey, I'm asking you.
I'm telling you.
100%. All right. You heard it here first. Sean Rice from the Meet Me blog is saying that El Fuego Fiasco has a 100% chance of winning the Invitational this year. Very strong words. I can only hope that that's the case. I don't want you to be putting a jinx on them, Sean. They might kick you out and you might have no way home.
This is true. I do need to ride home.
There could be worse places to be trapped in, though, right?
This is true, but apparently on the way there, I'm not finding any other places that I'd rather be trapped in. So.
All right, wait. Then you're in the best possible scenario. Sean, I got to cut you loose, but tell the guys at El Fuego Fiasco I wish them nothing but great luck, and then we'll look forward to all of your reports and the videos and stuff that you're going to be posting during the week.
Awesome. I'm very excited. They are very excited as well.
All right, boo. Take care. Meep. Sean Rice dropping in. How does a guy that listens to the show and has been on the show not know how to answer the phone on the show? Come on. You're better than that. I should ask him if he was listening to TuneIn Radio and listening to the show live. Sean, if you're listening to TuneIn Radio with El Fuego Fiasco, jump in, hit me with an email, let me know. Coming up on the show next week, while I cannot reveal their names, rest assured the winner of the American Royal Invitational in the Open will be on next week. Potentially, also, a little lady who was a friend of the show called Diva Q, Danielle Domofsky, who is filming her own barbecue TV show, Barbecue Crawl, could be on next week as well. Got to do a little clearing with TV broadcast networks and all that hullabaloo. And I'm not going to have time to talk about what I wanted to talk about here because we talked to Sean Rice instead. Let me see if this will actually work real quick. I don't know if you guys are into tailgate or not, but have you seen this?
Introducing the all-new outdoor cooking tool that does it all. The Blacktop 360 Party Hub Grill Fryer.
This?
With 4 unique cooking surfaces in our revolutionary cooking platform, the Blacktop 360 is the center of the party.
All right.
Grill up steaks, chicken, burgers, and more on the infrared grill. The premier barbecue heating technology, capable of reaching temperatures of up to 650 degrees.
I don't really see a lot of smoke going on.
Fire up the griddle and whip up some pancakes, omelets, French toast, and bacon. Then heat up the deep fryer for your favorite party foods like shrimp, chicken fingers, or onion rings. And keep your tasty treats hot and ready on the built-in warming tray.
Oh, yeah.
The incredible versatility of the Blacktop 360
I don't know if anybody noticed, there's nobody else in the parking lot. What kind of a tailgate is
fries,
that?
pork chops, and grilled cheese sandwiches, all at the same time. The Blacktop 360 is powered by a 1-pound propane tank, or a larger tank with an optional hose attachment.
Right.
And the entire cooking surface is a durable, double porcelain, non-stick enamel finish.
Oh.
Cleanup is fast and easy.
Sure.
Just wipe down the cooking surface with a damp cloth or paper towel. And the insulated oil container
I don't even know if there's a
allows
lot
for
of
easy and
space
safe
that is
oil
in there.
transport and disposal.
Is that a lot of space?
It also comes with a 3-position lid and this bamboo cutting board and side table.
Nice.
When you're ready to hit the road, the Blacktop 360 stores easily in its own carrying case to keep your car clean.
All right.
You get it all. The Blacktop 360 Party Hub Grill Fryer.
We're cooking shrimp.
The insulated oil container.
I'm in.
The 3-position lid. The bamboo cutting board. And the durable carrying case. All for one amazing low price.
Which I don't know what it is.
So join the party and get the portable diner that will revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. The Blacktop 360 Party Hub Grill Fryer.
All right, well, if you are into the tailgating, may or may not be something you want to look into. I think my wife actually asked me if that would be something that I would want the last time she was at BJ's Wholesale Club, and I passed immediately.
Get that big stuff out of
Hey,
here.
maybe you're a college football fan. Maybe you like to tailgate. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I would never admit that in public. We'd like to tailgate. Gang, a public service announcement from Jeweler to the Stars, Stephen DeFranco, located right here. Located right here in historic Willoughby, Ohio, just east of me. There's a lot of holidays coming up. You got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Columbus Day, you got Christmas. What are you going to buy your loved one? What are you going to buy you? That's what I want to know. What are you going to buy you? How about a nice watch? That's right. How about a Bulova Precisionist? I have that one. I showed it last week. It's the most accurate watch in the world. The Bulova Precisionist is that watch. The exclusive movement of the Precisionist breaks down the second-hand movements into 16 segments per second, giving the second hand a smooth moving appearance. Dare I say, sweeping. You've got steel and titanium versions as well. You have the Accutron, which I also have, the high-end without the high price, the Cadillac of the Bulova line. The Accutron is a pinnacle of the high-end design without breaking the bank. They start below $600. Mine was a little bit more than that. But wipe out all of that. You go online, StephenDeFranco.com. You find what you like. And then you do this. You call in 440-943-2700. And then you ask for Steve. He owns the joint. You're not asking for Steve, the sales guy, or Steve, the stock hack, or whatever. Steve owns the store, so you're going to be dealing with him directly. You say, hey, Steve, I saw this watch or this necklace or that diamond earrings or whatever. and I'm a barbecue brother or sister. I listen to the Barbecue Central radio show all the time, and I want the hookup. What can you do? Watch the numbers fall way off. You're going to get a huge deal. As always, everything ships for free. The quality is unmatched. Professionalism, unquestionable. I deal only with Steve when it comes to all of my jewelry business. Repairs, too. StephenDeFranco.com, 440-943-2700. And then you tell him I sent you. You listen to the show and you want the Barbecue Brother or Sister hookup. And again, as always, Steve will ship you all of your wares for free. We all win. Get something for you. Get a watch. Get out of that doghouse. Get a necklace for your wife, girlfriend, same-sex lover, whatever you like. Joe Beeland is next. Tippecanoe, Barbecue Crew. Can they go back-to-back? We'll find out right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
What the hell is that thing called? The Fire Grill 360, causing quite a stir. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care. You can't make me buy it. The Blacktop Party Hub 360 grill fryer. Maybe my next guest has some history with that. My first guest, second hour, has been flexing his proverbial barbecue muscle against the competition circuit for the past few years, and been doing very well at it. This past weekend, they managed a 6th place overall out of 51 teams at the Axar-Benz River City Rodeo and Stock Show in Omaha, Nebraska. Currently ranked 5th overall for the KCBS Team of the Year race, and they will also be heading the American Royal this coming weekend to defend their Invitational Championship title. They captured that last year. Let's go ahead and race over the hotline, and we welcome back friend of the show, pitmaster of the Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew, Joe Beeland. Joe, how are you, buddy?
Awesome, Greg. How's it going tonight?
It's absolutely fabulous, Joe. I appreciate you asking, and of course, making time for the show.
You bet. Hey, before you get started, I do have a little experience with the Blacktop 360, believe it or not. Not actually cooking on it, but we were at a food show this spring with a sponsor of ours, and they were right across the alley from us cooking up food on that thing. I was waiting for them to start a fire with that grease right in the middle of a propane burner. It didn't seem like a good idea to me, but...
Well, okay, so how did it cook? I mean, did it make decent food? Did it look like something that was serviceable either in the backyard or if you're taking it to Cleveland Browns Stadium or what?
You bet, yeah. I think for that kind of thing, they were making burgers and hot dogs and that kind of thing. It looked like it was doing an all right job, so I can't give it an endorsement. I didn't get to eat anything, but it looked like it worked anyway.
All right, there you go. First-hand knowledge from Joe Beeland, Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew on the Blacktop 360. All right, look, you're really in a tight Team of the Year race right now, Joe, with some other really good teams. I mentioned the Open, currently 5th overall for KCBS Team of the Year. You did well last week in a big event. Not as good as the Big T's Q Crew, who I know you're very good friendly rivals with. Roughly 100 points separating first place, where you are at 5th place. Are you in this to the bitter end, or will you tail off at some point for some other obligations that barbecue has to offer?
Good question, Greg. We put our lives on hold the last 6 months, and we kind of knew that going in, that this was going to be barbecue and barbecue only. So we've neglected a lot of things to barbecue, and that 100-point spread right now is huge. That's a big deal. It's just a lot of points to make up. We're going to cook some contests in October. I'll make the announcement here tonight. We're not going to kill ourselves to go after it. We're going to take the 2 weeks after the Royal off. We've had the opportunity to do that. We've got some other things we need to do, so we're going to do that. We win the American Royal Open, and that probably changes things, obviously. But assuming we don't do that, we'll take the following couple of weeks off and see what the end of October and November brings. November is going to be a challenge just because it appears as though the closest contests are in Georgia or Arizona. So
Joe, let me ask you this. And I know you didn't make it through the local qualifier to do the Sam's Club stuff, but you get points for local qualifying. If you're able to finish that high, but when you get into the regionals, you get into the finals. There's no points for Team of the Year. If you would have made it into the regionals, and then if you would have made it into the finals, and you were a little bit closer in Team of the Year points, is that something you'd be kicking yourself for, or would you have game planned for that and had other competitions kind of backfill those points potentially?
Yeah, and I think that's what the guys ahead of me are doing. I have the either fortunate or unfortunate ability to cook against Pigskin and Big T's and some of those guys that are ahead of us every weekend. And, I think that's what they're looking at right now. They've got an advantage on us now, and they're a little closer to Three Eyes. It's probably possible for them to catch them. So I think that's the math they're doing, is they're going to lose a weekend for the Sam's event, and Pigskin's going to the Jack, so they'll lose another one. And I think they'll have to go to Georgia in November to try to catch them.
All right, so big weekend coming up. We're talking with Joe Beeland, the pitmaster of Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew. The American Royal, obviously, we harken back almost a year ago, find you being crowned as grand champion of the invitational portion. A huge accomplishment, especially given the teams that always take part in that competition each and every year. What do you remember most about winning last year, Joe?
Probably the memory that sticks out in my mind is walking down those stairs. We were as far away from the stage as we could get. It's kind of a superstition or something we do at most contests. We're usually in the back left corner at awards, and that walk down after they called our name for grand champion, I thought my heart was going to explode. And all of our friends and people we see throughout the year, everybody on their feet and applauding, and that's what barbecue's about. Is the great people we get to meet, and to be able to share that with some of my best friends in the world, as we walk down there and get the hugs and high fives and everything else. That's what sticks out in my mind.
Joe Beeland joining me here on the show. Joe, so the obvious question for me to ask, and the one you probably don't want to answer, is this: what are the odds of you winning the Invitational 2 years in a row? I mean, you've been cooking consistently, by and large, this year, bravado and modesty aside. Odds that you want to give yourself to repeat?
Well, that's a tough one. I think it's interesting. We set out to accomplish some goals this year and kind of prove that we belonged and that we didn't get lucky and win a couple of contests last fall. And we hadn't cooked the number of contests we cooked this year. I think we're at 28. We finished in the top 6 20 times out of those 28 contests. We're proud of that. That's something that I've got 10 reserve grand championships and grand championships combined. So that's something that we set out to do. We cook really well in Missouri. We were in 2010, we were reserve in the Invitational. Obviously, we won it last year. So all that said, all that good mojo, I still think it's unreasonable to think you've got more than a 15 or 20% chance of winning it back to back, just with everything it takes of hitting the right tables and doing the right things.
All right, Joe. So when you make the turnaround from invite to open, does the mindset change at all, or are you almost? I mean, so here's like the bottom line, right? You're almost sextupling the amount of teams that were in the invitational side, and now you're going to the open. Does it become more of a crapshoot / luck of the tables kind of thing the next day, or not necessarily?
Yeah, no question. In my mind, it does. I think that's the general consensus as you walk around Sunday before awards is, it's a crapshoot, and good luck, but there's probably 75 or 80 teams that turned in food good enough to win, and the one who hits the right tables is going to do it. We cooked just as well on Sunday as we did Saturday last year, and got 19th, and we're obviously ecstatic with that in the open. It's something that you just have to hit the right tables, and that's even harder to do the second day.
Is it something that you would not do? I mean, you're there to do the Invitational. You ever given thought to just packing up after that and heading out and not bother with the open mess?
No, not even, never crossed my mind. It's one of those things, even though it's a crapshoot, if you would win that, obviously you won the world's biggest barbecue contest. That's another feather in the hat, and you're there anyway. As Rod mentioned, you're there, you're set up, you're in your sight. You just will get 2 for 1 and go for it.
All right, so let's get hypothetical for a second, Joe. I know you love to get hypothetical, especially on this show. What kind of achievement would it be for you and the team to win both ends of this competition, which no one has ever done? And so keep this in mind, right? A repeat of the invite win and then the grand in the Open to close the weekend. Will that pretty much get you legend status? You'd never have to buy a meal at the American Royal again, automatic Hall of Fame stuff. I mean, that would be huge, right?
Yeah, it would be. It's almost hard to believe that it's possible, but that's what we're going to go down there to do. We're gonna strap it on and see what happens. And I think we've proven we've got a chance to do it. That was our mission last year on Sunday. To be honest with you, I don't think anybody's won both in the same year. And after our Saturday awards ceremony, we got back to the site and had a shot or two. And I looked at the crew and said, "All right, we got a half hour. Enjoy it, and we're going back to work and to try to do it again tomorrow." So that's our plan. Our plan this weekend. Obviously, it's an uphill battle, but we go into every one expecting to win.
Joe Beelan from Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew joining me here on the show, talking about the impending American Royal to take place this weekend. Joe, for the people that maybe have never been there, I hate to say it, but like myself and some other people that are listening, what's it like to load in? What's it like to cook that weekend? Does it compare to anything else that you're going to do during the course of a competition season?
No, it doesn't. It's unlike anything you've ever seen, and unlike any other contest, including the Jack and the Sam's finals. It's the Royal, and there's nothing like it. The load-in process, all that's actually relatively smooth. I know teams that get in Friday morning sometimes have a bit of a challenge depending on who's around them and what their site looks like. But we're going down. We're leaving tomorrow morning. We make a trip out of this and enjoy it. We'll go down tomorrow morning and take our time. And just like last year, I can't find any ribs or chicken, so I'll be stopping at every meat slinging facility between here and Kansas City to see what I can procure there for meat. And we'll take our time, get there, and get set up late tomorrow night sometime and be ready to roll for the weekend. So, but it's something you have to experience. I think it's on in one of those books of the things to experience before you die, and I think it's definitely for a barbecuer. You have to get there, you have to experience it. And if you are there, anybody listening, if you get there this year, come see us. We're in spot 870. Our friends at Western Premium Barbecue Products are helping us host a giant blowout party Friday night. So we'll have some live music and some drinks to partake in. So stop by and see us.
Joe, it seems, I don't want to say unfathomable, but unfathomable that a guy and a team of your success and what you've done over the last handful of years is going to the American Royal, stopping off to find your meat for the competition. Have you not? Look, there's a lot of teams out there that are, really delving into the specialty chicken purveyors and the specialty brisket purveyor and the ribs on down the line. Is that something that you guys have at least touched base with some companies on or looked into, or is that not the style of Tippecanoe?
Yeah, we have, and we do for brisket. I've had my brisket for several weeks, resting and waiting for this weekend. So we were actually buying brisket right off the farm, buying it straight from the guy who's growing it. So we're doing that with brisket. We've looked into, we've tried, we've approached, we've done a lot of things, especially with pork and ribs with some of the specialty stuff out there. And I get pork from the same place every week, and I do have that with me for the weekend. But ribs and chicken, I'll be honest with you, we do this every week. We roll into a grocery store, Sam's Club, a Restaurant Depot, and see what they got. And we know what we're looking for, and that's one of the things that I think makes a big difference. Is I don't want to just order a case, get it in the mail, and stuck with whatever they sent me that week. And I've got my time and money invested in this, and I'm going to spend the time during the week to find what I need. It's not uncommon to make 10 trips to a grocery store or Sam's Club during the week for me.
All right, Joe, let me ask you this question. It's coming in from Dave Lopez. He wanted me to ask you how you did at the Kings of Barbecue contest. He judged the contest but couldn't stick around for the results. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do think we actually worst contest of the year. Appreciate the question.
Yeah, way to bring that up. Thanks, David. You're never allowed on the show. Way to insult my guest, bastard.
No, it was just it was recently. I was no excuses. We didn't cook well. We had a bad week. That happens obviously to everybody, and happened to us that week. So I think we finished 11th, something like that. So still not a bad week, but not what we wanted, not what we needed. That was just a couple weeks ago. So I think we put some pressure on ourselves going into this last month, trying to chase this team of the year thing, and I think it was probably a bad move. We focused a lot on it. It was in every part of our decisions of where we were going for the weekend, and we probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have gone out and cooked our game and saw what happened.
Joe Beelan joining me here on the show, defending champions of the American Royal Invitational. They are going to be headed that way this coming weekend to try their efforts at repeating. We'll see how that works out. Joe, let me ask you this question before I cut you loose. It has nothing to do with the Royal, but and I asked Rod a little bit ago about it. There was a competition that took place in Oakland. It was a week ago. There's another one coming up in December, and there seems to be, let's say, a very small movement afoot, if you will, where contests are trying to level a playing field and bringing barbecue back into whatever a traditional sense is. So no pellet cookers, no automatic temperature control devices. They're going to provide you with the meat that you are going to cook. They're going to, in some instances, tell you what cooker to cook on. Is this a little bit of a fad going on right now, or do you think that this might actually catch a hold and we might see more of this in the future?
I think it will. We're doing the contest out in California in December, okay, with Big Papa Smokers as well. And, you can use your own smoker, but no pellets, no gurus, those types of things. So I think it's probably a bit of a fad, but I also think it's probably a kind of, a push to go back to what traditional barbecue was or is. And I think it's not all bad. It's probably many ways to do it. As Rod mentioned, I would agree 100% that the reason our sport is, or sport, we're going to call it that, the reason our activity is growing and we're on TV and we're all doing lots of great things is because of that growth, because of it is easier to do this at home than it used to be. So that's all a good thing. I did look. We looked earlier this year, and for my research, it's interesting. I think the shift to the Jambo pits and big offset pits, it's interesting. I couldn't find the last time or any time a team has won the team of the year and KCBS cooking on anything other than a stick burner. I know Rod did in 2009, but I believe he cooked most of that year, and he can correct me, but I believe he cooked most of that year on the Jambo. Correct. And I think that's true if you go back with Lotta Bull and Johnny, and you go back through that list, and I don't know of a team that didn't cook on the traditional way, so to speak, on a stick burner and won that team of the year. So,
do you see a lot of teams trending towards having multiple cookers in their camp, or are they trying to consolidate and just have one item to cook all of the meats on?
In my part of the world, I see a lot of two cooker systems, big meats on one, ribs and chicken on the other. We cook 3 of the meats. We cook everything except for chicken on the same pit. So I think it's definitely consolidated. You don't see as much of the sites with 12 cookers set up around them as you used to. And far less pellets in this area. We're seeing a lot more Jambos, a lot more of these new Rebels, Backwoods, those kind of things. That seems to be what's winning the contest. I can't think of the last time a pellet-fired cooker won a contest in the Midwest.
Now, undoubtedly, one of the most popular cookers in the past 5, 6, 7 years has been the FEC 100 and has won its lion's share of contests. Is it because the offset and the Rebels, those gravity-fed style cookers, are starting to win a little bit more now? Let me rephrase that. Is it always an instance where people are going to be chasing what's winning? So if you see a guy who's winning 8 contests in a row and then he puts out a cooking class, you can pretty much bank on the fact that 800 people are going to sign up for this guy's class. Likewise, if these styles of cookers are winning the lion's share of contests, we're going to go from whatever used to be winning to whatever is winning now.
Absolutely. I think that's 100% true. I think we saw that with pellets. I think we've seen that with Jambos. It's starting with, and I think Rod called it out a month ago on your show, that, he kind of saw that as the next big thing with these gravity, shouldn't say next thing because they've been around a long time, but that seemed to be breaking out, and with the gravity fed charcoal smokers, and that sure seems to be what's happening. So I think you're exactly right. Success drives the sales of those products, and then the consistency of the judging tent. You think about that as you're sitting there as a judge, and you've got 6 entries on the table. 5 of them were cooked on an FEC 100, and 1 was cooked a different way and taste remarkably different. There's a chance over time that you're going to move to that one that's different. I like that, and it's different. Not different, and I don't like it, but you follow what I'm saying.
Joe Beelan is the pitmaster for Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew. They're going to try and repeat this coming weekend at the American Royal Invitational. Joe, always appreciate the time you give to the show. Good luck this weekend. If you win, I need dibs to come back next week and we can talk about it.
You got it. I'll be on.
All right. Thanks, and very good luck to you, my friend.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
You got it. There he is. Joe Beelan, Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew. And you can find them at tippecanoebbq.com if you want to check out their website and see what they're all about. How awesome would it be? How awesome would it be to go repeat as the Invitational and then win the Open? Nobody in 30 years has won the Invitational, less repeating, but won the Invitational and then turned around and won the Open the next day. Extra karma for Joe. I do have the Tippecanoe Barbecue Crew T-shirt on tonight. I'm sure that will put them right over the top. All right, gang, let me talk to you quickly for just a few minutes. Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. Look, there are unsavory businesses and creeping marauders at each and every turn on the internet. I think we can all agree on that. But sometimes you're looking for a barbecue or grilling item that just isn't stocked anywhere in your hometown, or the next town over, or the next town over from that. Your options have become limited, and you are now forced to go online to buy the item you want, or you're going to have to go without it. Nobody wants that. Great news. Let Fred Bernardo and the gang over at Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply relieve you of your internet buying stresses. Tasty Licks has one of the most complete inventories of barbecue and grilling items anywhere on the face of the earth. All of these items that you see on Fred's website are in stock. They're there in the store, and they're ready to ship to you directly. Now, are there other places on the internet that might have an item cheaper? Sure. Tons of places. But are you 100% confident that you're actually going to get the item you buy? How long is it going to take to get to you? All great questions no one can answer with 100% assurity. That's why when you buy from Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply, the items are in the store, and they ship to you promptly. Everything in the store is priced fairly. What more do you want from your internet buying, people? It's there, it's priced fair, it ships quick. Tasty Licks carries grills, smokers, ceramics, cookers, grills, electric grills, various charcoal types of wood chunks, chips, cookbooks, accessories. If they don't have it, you don't need it. And on top of all of that, Fred carries many of the other show sponsors in his store as well. So you're doing this 2-for-1, shopping at a sponsor, buying some sponsors' products, best of both worlds. And, of course, they have their own line of rubs and sauces. Be sure to try them. Head on over to TastyLicksBBQ.com. That's TastyLicksBBQ.com, and let the confidence exude from you as you make your purchases online. Then enjoy the item upon delivery. Don't forget that Fred and the gang are there to help you after the sale as well. The website, TastyLicksBBQ.com. You won't be sorry you did. All right, thanks again to Joe Beelan for joining me this past segment. We return with Smoke Signals blog columnist from the Washington Post, Jim Shaheen. We're going to close out the show strong. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are 2 ways to get in touch with me if you're so inclined. Thanks again to Joe Beeland for joining me on the show. My next guest writes the Smoke Signals blog for the Washington Post. You can find him here about once a month as well. Let's go ahead and head over to the hotline. Welcome back, friend of the show, Jim Shaheen. Jim, how are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, Greg. Listen, breaking up a little bit. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. You hear me okay?
Yeah, let me just dump you, and I'll call you right back.
All right.
Technical problems already abound. Let's see what we can do about this. Because I got a red mark as well.
Hey, Greg.
Is that better, Jim?
I think that's better. Yeah, I think so.
Well, if it goes bad, we'll hang up and we'll go right back to calling each other again. That's how we work in the age of technology now. We hang up on each other, we call each other right back.
Get it.
All right, so we've been talking about the American Royal and the Invitational and the Open All Show. We've had the guy that runs the operations and the maintenance. We've had Rod Gray from Pellet Envy. We've had Joe Beeland, who won the contest on the Invitational side last year. Do you have any thoughts about the American Royal and, kind of what it signifies? And there's, of course, always that constant debate going on between pitmasters of, I would rather win the American Royal, I would rather win the Jack Daniels. 2 completely different, separate competitions. But people do have party lines on which one they might rather take home at the end of a barbecue career.
Well, it's... in a way, it's a little bit, I guess, kind of like the BCS, I mean, you don't have there's not a Super Bowl, one clear, obvious winner. You're going to find, if you win Jack, nobody can argue that you're one of the best ever. You're great. That year was your year. It was phenomenal. If you win the American Royal, same thing. And so, I guess there's something to be said for the Big Tent theory about barbecue, and that is, and listen, there's room for a couple of different champions, same goes for Memphis in May. You win Memphis in May, it's another big one. So, the guys that win one, God bless them. They're just, it's just amazing that they should be able to win any one of the really big contests like that, I think.
Jim, can you imagine being a pitmaster if you and I teamed up and we went down to the American Royal and we won we would have to have won something else previous, but we get invited to the Invitational, we win that, and we turn around the next day, we win the Open. We would be legend for the rest of our lives, right?
Well, that's right. I think what you're doing now is, I don't know. I think you're dreaming here. I don't think. I think what's happening now is that you pinch us and we wake up because this part never happens. This is the movie. This is the fantasy.
30 years this competition has been going on. There's never been anybody that has turned around back to back and won Invitational and Open side. And I just had Joe Beeland on, so he's going to repeat as the Invitational. Can you imagine if he repeats as the Invitational and then turn around and wins the Open? As odd as it would sound for us to win Invitational and Open, to have somebody repeat on one side and then win the other side that they haven't won in the same year would be almost mind-boggling.
Yeah, it would be mind-boggling. I mean, it would be amazing. And I thought, Joe had a great attitude about it. I was listening to him, and it was just he just had a really, really, he just seemed really centered about it. Of course, he's going to give everything he's got. It's hard to repeat in anything. And this would be something other than repeating. But I mean, it would be unbelievable. It would be incredible.
Jim Shaheen joining me here on the show. He writes the Smoke Signals blog, which can be found at thewashingtonpost.com. All right, Jim, so a couple of different things we want to talk about tonight don't really have anything to do with the American Royal, but it's always good to break it up a little bit. Evidently, news to me, and for the people who didn't know, we're in a presidential year, so there's this whole thing. I read your post, it was a week ago, about you giving advice to the candidates about how they should go about using barbecue and winning their way, or at least trying to win their way into the White House. Break that down for us and kind of give us your keys to their successes.
Well, okay, I had this thought about swing states, and so I took a look at the swing states, and because the election really comes down to roughly somewhere around 10 states, something like that. We all know which way, Texas is going to go. We all know which way New York State's going to go. We all know which way California is going to go. I mean, so there are certain, states that they're just not spending much money in, much time in, because they know, what the playing field's like. So now they have to play in the swing states. So then I thought, well, I wonder what states of the swing states could be considered barbecue states. Well, if you look at Texas, obviously that's not one of them. That's going to go Republican, no doubt about it. And then, if you look at Tennessee, Memphis, and whatnot, then that's also going to go Republican. So that leaves, if you're looking at sort of the four major barbecue centers, North Carolina and Kansas City. And if you look at those two, North Carolina is very much in play. It's leaning to the polls. The latest polls I saw, which I just looked at again this morning, it's leaning toward Romney, but Obama won it by less than half a point in 2008. It's still up for grabs. And then Missouri is also up for grabs. It's also leaning Republican. And, it depends on how much stock you put in polls, but, and which polls you look at and all that. But if you aggregate them then Missouri, we've seen recently that Todd Aiken, the Republican senatorial candidate, is dropping further behind McCaskill. Now, is that possible that Obama could actually ride senators' coattails to potential victory in Missouri? Maybe. McCain only took that by 0.01% in 2008. So that is by no means, and all the polls there are showing on the presidential side within the margin of error. So that Missouri is not completely to the Republican column. So those are two states that are very much in play. So if you put attention there, obviously you can't put all your attention on those two states. You have to look at Florida. You have to look at states like Wisconsin, Iowa, other states that are in play, Colorado, New Mexico. Once you work it all out, then you sort of ask yourself, okay, where should I put my resources and how should I do these photo ops? Because that's what a lot of this is. It's, like, for example, I'll give you a little background. Romney, since primaries, showing up at a lot of barbecue events. He's been showing up at barbecue places as well, especially in the primary. He was showing up at the All-Important South Carolina. And I'll tell you what, man, he ordering pretty darn well. He people in the press and whatnot were giving him kudos for how well he was ordering. So either he really knows his stuff about barbecue or he has very good advancement. And usually these guys they all have advancement and whatnot. And so he was ordering in South Carolina, did a lot of stuff there. He also did fundraisers in California at a barbecue at the founder of the was it now? Micro Systems founder in California, and he did he stuff in Arlington, Texas, Rudy's. He did a lot of barbecue stuff for quite a while. He even, not too long ago, I think roughly a month ago, his campaign tweeted a stain, a barbecue stain.
I remember seeing that. Yep.
Sure.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
Huh? You saw that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So he was very active, and Obama has been a little less active, but he's been hitting the barbecue trail a little bit, especially hit a couple places in a place in Maryland, a place in Washington D.C. He's Oklahoma Joe's in Kansas City. The don't know if he's been to Oklahoma Joe's this time. I know he was there in 2010. Actually, Kansas City is really interesting because you've got a lot of guys. John and Palin both ate at Bryant's during the 2008 election. Well, Clinton had a latter name for him, Gates. So, all these people stop in Kansas City and eat in various places. And so if you look at these things, if you look at the way they want to look like a man of the people, what better way to do that than to eat barbecue? If I were advising them, I'd tell them to get their American Royal. A lot of press that would come. And there'd be a lot of people they eat. It would be an amazing event, I think. So anyway, I just think it's fun to play around with, to break the, electorate into various groups and see, and if there's something called a barbecue vote or not, and just kind of.
Jim Shaheen joining me here on the show. Jim, I'm going to dump you and call you right back again because we're having a little audio breakup there. I agree with Jim, by the way. Those presidential candidates should show up this weekend and see what's what at the American Royal and reap the rewards for going down to that particular event. All right, Jim. So what we found in history is that barbecue has made its way into notaries and diaries, and all the way back to like George Washington talking about it. I mean, there's been a pretty substantial history with the term barbecue.
Oh, yeah. George Washington and his diaries. I mean, if you look at the presidential history of barbecues, it runs through all the way from the father of our country, George Washington. In his diaries, he talks about going to barbecues, hosting barbecues. There is Thomas Jefferson there's a early cookbook and from a relative of his, in which she talks about how to make a pepper sauce. Sort of what sounds very much like what we consider today to be a sort of a classic Eastern North Carolina style pepper sauce with vinegar and peppers, and that's in very early on into the history of the country. We see this threaded throughout a number of presidents. You get Lincoln, and his parents were married at a barbecue. And his opponent, Stephen Douglas, attempted to throw a barbecue in the North, New York City to be exact, and it turned out to be unmitigated disaster. He didn't have real pitmen, and it's in New York, and it just, apparently from what you can tell from the press at the time, in the New York papers, one guy described, I think, he's burnt remains of tenement housing, and it was just, apparently everybody got all liquored up because it took too long before the food was ready. And then the food wasn't very good when it was ready, and they turned everything over, and it just became a debacle. So, yeah, all through history, you've had presidents involved in barbecue. The most famous probably would be LBJ, who had something that was actually dubbed barbecue diplomacy. And he would have the chancellor at his ranch in Texas and have barbecue, and he had his very first one was when he was Senate Majority Leader, and he had the Mexican president there. This is very sad. This is sort of recollection, but there was a barbecue scheduled between him and John F. Kennedy that never occurred. It was the day after Kennedy was assassinated. It was supposed to have been at LBJ's ranch, and of course, obviously, never happened. But it was on the docket. And along those lines, George Bush was also very, very, very much into barbecue. And on September 11th, there was a barbecue planned for what's called the Congressional Picnic. And a guy named Perini, Texas, had come up, brought chuck wagons, crew, the whole bit. And of course, it was scheduled for the afternoon of September 11th. Obviously, it was canceled. George W. Bush, as Perini was clearing things up on the lawn of the White House, Perini actually strode to President Bush, and Perini told me that apparently there is a protocol in which you're supposed to approach the president. But he did, and he's probably made some snipers very nervous. And he shook the president's hand, and the President Bush told Perini that he was going to have him. And the very next year, he did have Perini back to do the Congressional Picnic, which did happen at the White House grounds a year later. So, there's been this year with Obama, well, not just this year, during his term, he's had Bobby Flay doing barbecues on the White House grounds, and grilling. He did steaks there. He didn't really barbecue. He did steaks there, and he, and he's done some stuff there at the White House.
Jim Shaheen joining me here on the show. You can read him at the WashingtonPost.com. He writes the Smoke Signals blog, and that comes out on Tuesdays. And you can, of course, find him here about once a month here on the show. Jim, always appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Take care now.
There he is, Jim Shaheen. Who knew barbecue was steeped in such majesty and tragedy and all the way back to the founding fathers? Not me. I didn't know that. But I do now. All right, here we go. I agree, Diane. I'll tell him, next time, drink more wine. This rarely happens on the show because the people are loyal to a fault. If you're a business, if you have a market in the barbecue and grilling world, your opportunity is now. There's one open spot on the sponsor partner stable with the show, and this is it. You can be having me talk about your product and why it would be great for the barbecue and grilling world for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, when you compare it to some of the online stuff or traditional media ways of getting your stuff out, hugely inexpensive. Plus, you get banners on the homepage, you get social media hits from me during the course of each and every day. It's a wonderful thing. If you've always wondered, how can I get on the sponsorship train of the Barbecue Central radio show, this is it. Right here, right now, and you can do it by emailing me, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let me know you heard it, and I can send you out all the information that you need. Or you can go to the website, and underneath About the Show, I believe there's a thing that says how to become an affiliate. Not affiliate. Sponsor. Download the media kit, read it, see what it's all about. You could be on this sharp little bullet train called the Barbecue Central Radio Show. All right, we'll come back and wrap the show up right after this. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, 3 minutes till the top of the hour, 57 past. Thanks again to Jim Shaheen for joining me this past segment, talking about presidential stuff and barbecue and the history of barbecue as it relates to presidents. And then, of course, prior to that, Joe Beelan, Tippecanoe New Barbecue Crew. It's been a jam-packed show, what can I say? This is what I'm trying to do. Get you caught up, on speed, on top of all of the great things that are happening in the barbecue and grilling world. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. In the first hour, believe it or not, all the way back at 9 o'clock, Bob Wolfe joined me, American Royal, the Director of Operations and Maintenance. He's been doing that for 14 years. After that, we had Rod Gray, Pellet Envy, not giving himself really good odds to win, which means bet on him. Joe Beelan, current Invitational champ, looking to repeat and perhaps do the whole Invitational Open thing. He'd be the first one to ever do it in 30 years. And then Jim Shaheen, Washington Post. If you have raw cast iron, folks, do me a favor, season it each and every time. Scrape it down, put a little Pam or Crisco as the heat starts to wear out of it. It'll burn back in. It reseasons it each and every time. Generations of rust-free service. Also, as Jim said, September 11, 2001, I will never forget. And I know you won't either. Jam-packed show next week. I hope to see you back here next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.